Rushing from behind him is the Northwestern athletic director, Jim Phillips. Fielded in the end zone. They'll take a knee and come out on the 25-yard line. And here comes Braxton Miller, and he put to rest any idea of a quarterback controversy last week.
He sure did. He came out and established the Ohio State offense after a few weeks off, and big plays through the air. It's something that Northwestern's defensive coaches and head coach Pat Fitzgerald are well aware of. They think they need to hold on tight against Braxton Miller and the big play of the passing game from Miller, especially early in this game. Keep everything in front of the Cats defense.
Carlos Hyde opens as the running back, number 34, alongside Miller. Play action to him, and Miller down the middle, and it is complete to Corey Brown. So Philly Brown is to the 45-yard line. Nick Van Hoos makes the stop.
Watch the linebackers, Brent, go after Carlos Hyde. See how quick they are? Great call on 1st and 10 with a lot of energy in this stadium, getting the linebackers out of position and then finding Corey Brown behind them.
Stay in the air. 2 for 2. Devin Smith this time. 9 more yards for the Buckeyes.
Braxton Miller, anybody who's close to the program knows what kind of arm strength Braxton Miller has. I think the area where Ohio State has changed so much is the improvement in the speed and the development of the players around the quarterback position.
On 2nd and 2, play action, and again to Smith for another first down. So the Buckeyes, Herbie, are putting into the air on this opening series of the game. No question about their game plan here early.
Yeah, Northwestern had some struggles earlier this year. They come in 119th in the nation in pass defense, and Ohio State right away trying to exploit that weakness, trying to throw underneath, and eventually they'll try to set up some bigger plays down the field.
So the Buckeyes drive to the Wildcats 37. Been successful, so why not? Wide open is Corey Brown. And he walks down the sideline. It's going to be marked inside the 10-yard line at the 9. It's 1st and goal on this opening drive.
Great patience by Braxton Miller. Devin Smith cleared out off to the left and opened it up underneath, and a good read.
Every play in the air so far, and the Cats jumped that one and throw them for a 2-yard loss. Evan Spencer was the receiver that time, and White coming up fast. And Spencer, the receiver, shaken up on the play.
Go back. I want you to watch Devin Smith, how he clears this out and allows it to open up underneath. It takes a lot of patience and great pass protection. You can see how long it takes to develop. You can see the corner had to run with Devin Smith. It opened up a big void in the defense, and Braxton Miller looks downfield, and the best thing he did there is come off his primary. He wanted to go downfield to Devin Smith, looked him off, and found his second option. And there's the previous play to Evan Spencer.
It sort of wrenched his knee a little bit, I think. So 5 consecutive passes to open the game. Evan walks off to the far side to the. So it'll be 2nd and goal, but back on the 11-yard line after that loss. They're going to run Braxton Miller on a sweep, and he is down at the line of scrimmage. Cut off on that sweep. Damian Proby, the linebacker, to make the stop, and Urban was trying to change things.
Watch this. He goes crazy right here. He's trying to change it, and then they snap the ball. I was about to say Urban Meyer trying to get a check in. They had man-to-man, one-on-one on the outside, and I think he was trying to get Braxton Miller to go after that coverage against the Wildcats.
3rd down and goal. Steps up, fires, deflected, incomplete. Colin Ellis, the linebacker, number 45, knocks it down.
Boy, Colin Ellis, one of the leaders of this defense, almost came up with an interception. He had 2 interceptions against Cal, both returned for touchdowns, and that is a big stop early in this game by Northwestern. They gave up some yards, kept things in front of them, and then they squeezed the Ohio State offense in the red zone to force his field goal.
Kenny Guyton, backup quarterback, will put it down for Drew Basil. 27-yard attempt. And so the Buckeyes strike first. But the Wildcats did not surrender a touchdown. They limited them to a field goal.
Wildcats for decades. The rallies recently made the lead yet to an athletics campaign. In honor of that day, at the multi-purpose athletic and recreation facility will be named the Rally of the
This telecast is available in high definition, brought to you by Vizio. So the Buckeyes will kick off here, and Wildcats will handle it for the first time tonight. So Harris goes back deep. He's the key kickoff return man. Matthews, only a freshman from LaGrange Highlands. Basil kicks it away. And here comes Harris from the 5. Alley out to the 30-yard line. Nice return. Well, the starting quarterback tonight is Kane Coulter. He's a senior from Denver, Colorado. And Herbie, it's interesting. Tell us about his strengths.
Well, he is a dual threat quarterback, an experienced guy. He's been around for a number of years, actually has a lot of traits. He can catch the ball, he can run the football, obviously can throw it, and throws it a lot better than people want to give him credit. When Ohio State sees him back there at quarterback, they're thinking more about his ability to run and Venrick Mark's ability to run the football.
They stack 3 receivers on the right. Through a screen pass, and that is Venrick Mark, the tailback, who returns. And he was injured before the Cal. 3 games, did not play.
He is electrifying. A big difference by having 5 in that backfield.
They pick up 9 yards. Staying in the air, and there's the first down, and there's Tony Jones.
Tony Jones that time matched up into the boundary against Bradley Roby. And remember, Roby had the rough game last week. Kane Coulter can throw the football. The scouting report says he's the runner, but he has shown an ability the last few years to throw it. And if you challenge him, he'll make you pay for it.
Mark thrown for a loss, and that was Adolphus Washington.
Tackled by Adolphus Washington.
Check in now on the impact matchup on this side of the ball.
Well, I think it is Tony Jones and Christian Jones. They're wide receivers against Bradley Roby and Durant Grant. Ohio State loaded the line of scrimmage last week against Wisconsin. Northwestern's got to make plays in their vertical passing game.
And they do, to midfield that time, and that is Dan Vitale. Now, he's more of an H-back than a tight end. They will move Vitale all over the field. And the Wildcats have advanced on their opening series quickly to midfield, and Coulter is 3 of 3 for 22 yards. Trayvon Green, now the running back. Bucks rush 3, wait for Coulter, he takes off. That was interesting, Herbie, because they held the defensive lineman back, but Coulter still was able to get past him.
Yeah, this is what you have to do with athletic quarterbacks, is contain them. You could see that they had a spy that time with Shazier, who's usually number 10, now wearing number 2 in honor of Christian Bryant, who's out with a broken ankle. He's just spying him. And by spying him, he forced him to cut back to the inside, and the Buckeye defense, very good job of containing and pursuing a very athletic quarterback in Coulter.
Stopped him short of the first down. Corey Brown back deep for the Buckeyes, and this one will go into the end zone.
Braxton Miller recognizing a late adjustment from Northwestern, walking a linebacker up to the line of scrimmage, loading the line of scrimmage.
Here's Hyde's first carry from scrimmage, and he makes the most of it for 11 yards.
You look at the Ohio State impact matchups with Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde, and the running game puts pressure on Ellis and Proby in the middle of Northwestern's defense. There's a big advantage with Ohio State's offensive line. Northwestern has to decide, are they going to load the line of scrimmage to stop that running of Hyde and Miller? If they do, they can leave themselves vulnerable in the pass game in some big plays.
Fumble. Still loose. Northwestern football. What a play by Tyler Scott, the ringleader of that defensive front, number 97.
Now Scott, who had 9 sacks a year ago, is from Warren, Ohio. You think he's fired up for this game, Brent? He gets his hand on the football. This defense prides itself on creating turnovers, especially deep in opponent's territory. Ellis comes in there. A lot of jerseys for Northwestern all over the football. But as Brent, as you said, Tyler Scott comes up with the big play. That's the 12th turnover this year that this defense has created.
Both quarterbacks dash onto the field here for the Wildcats. Trevor Siemian figures to take the snap, and Kane Coulter has been working in the slot. There is Coulter, number 2. This is what they worked on in practice. And believe me, Coulter does get involved in the passing game. Siemian straight back, looks in that direction, takes off, and into the red zone, out of bounds on the 19-yard line that time. And there was Ryan Shazier, as Herbie told you, wearing number 2.
Now you could make the argument that their best lineup tonight will be Siemian at quarterback and Kane Coulter lined up at the slot. You put Kane Coulter out there with Tony Jones and Christian Jones and Venrick Mark, it's a lot of speed and a lot of athletic ability, and Siemian can distribute that football very, very well.
Second down and 5 with Siemian, the trigger man. Run a draw play with Mark. Mark breaks free for a first down at the 11-yard line, and Curtis Grant with a stop for the Buckeyes. The one thing, Herbie, that faces Ohio State's defense tonight is a change in style. Last week, it was the big Wisconsin offensive lineman. Northwestern tonight will spread the field, and they'll throw it around. They won't be looking for one receiver. They'll be looking for several. Siemian, end zone incomplete. And C.J. Barnett had coverage.
Pat Fitzgerald has put together a staff and a system where they're very multiple. It puts a lot on a defensive staff to try to get ready for 2 different quarterbacks and 2 different systems and how they can fight you.
And you saw Herbie was pulling at the jersey. Yeah. He thought interference should have been called down to the end zone. It was a tremendous linebacker recruited by Gary Barnett. Now Coulter will take this snap on a full house. And the H-back, Vitale, straight ahead.
Right now doing a good job of mixing up not just the quarterbacks, but a lot of different personnel groups, keeping Ohio State's defense off balance. But this is what it's really all about, is trying to execute on 3rd down. They're at 51% on the year, one of the better teams at executing on 3rd down.
Well, here's your 3rd and 8. And Trevor Siemian from Windermere, Florida, back on the field. He's the junior. Coulter's the senior. Siemian has time. Fires middle. Touchdown, Northwestern. Kane Coulter. As we told you, he was not a decoy. He gets involved as a receiver. It was all set up by that young man's defensive work. Tyler Scott forced a fumble, then recovered it, and the Wildcats gain the lead.
To get Kane Coulter in space. The safety is held by other receivers, and it's really Curtis Grant here who doesn't get any kind of movement at all on Kane Coulter. He gets a free release, finds him in the hole right behind coverage. The linebacker 14's got to at least get a hand on him and run with him. With the safety split like that, you can see what it does to Pat Fitzgerald. This is the first time Ohio State has trailed the entire year.
Carlos Hyde, running back, alongside Braxton Miller. Hyde for 9 yards, and let's check in down below with Heather Cox.
Brent, you guys were talking about Jordan Hall. He actually is not dressed. He injured his knee this week in practice. He traveled with the team, but was a big question mark. They weren't sure if he was going to be able to go or not. Not available tonight.
So Hyde gets the workload. That's a 1st down. But the coaches telling us also that Elliott will be used tonight, and perhaps Rod Smith and Ball will also see time. But right now, the workhorse is Carlos Hyde.
And Brennan, Urban Meyer and Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator, is saying that Carlos Hyde could get up to 25 touches tonight, depending on how he feels. And we're already seeing a pretty good dose. Ohio State, remember, they threw the ball down the field until they settled for a field goal in their opening possession. Now they've come out here after fumbling, and now they're starting to run the football.
Now Rod Smith will check in now. They'll motion him out of the backfield. Draw play. Braxton sort of backed into that spot where the 1st down marker was. Ellis making the stop for the Wildcats, and they might be a little bit short here.
For this offense to really click, Braxton Miller's feet have got to be a big part of trying to make things happen and make those linebackers and safeties respect his feet and his running ability.
Instead, they go to Rod Smith, his 1st carry of the night, and bolts across midfield. Campbell, the safety for the Wildcats, with the stop.
Ohio State getting a big push up front. Pretty big advantage here early, at least on this drive, of the battle in the trenches. And again, with the threat of a quarterback who can run or throw, it just puts Northwestern in a bind on trying to figure out how you want to commit to stop this running game.
Hyde back in as the Buckeye running back. Play action with him. Deep down that far sideline and incomplete. And it will be 2nd and 10. And now let's go to Chris Cotter for an update. Chris?
Make that moves on the coverage. 2nd and 10, Ohio State on the Northwestern 41-yard line.
All right, Chris, keep us up to date on that one. Here, Northwestern leads Ohio State 7-3. 2nd down and 10 with 6 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter.
Northwestern doing an excellent job of keeping Ohio State's speedy receivers in front of them, making Ohio State earn everything that they're getting.
Here comes a blitz. Miller takes off. And look at them try to strip that ball. Again, it was Tyler Scott. On that tackle, you could see the big fella's right arm trying to yank that ball free.
And he almost got it out. I mean, it's one of these teams that work very, very hard on that. And Braxton Miller better be alert. We've seen Tyler Scott already knock one loose. He almost came away with a second one, being able to knock it away from Miller. Emphasized not just during this week, but it's emphasized all year for this defense and priding themselves on getting either knocking down passes or creating turnovers with fumbles and interceptions.
3rd and 5. Can't find a receiver. Down. It'll be 4th down, thrown for a loss by number 97, who is having a huge opening quarter here in Evanston.
Deontay Gibson, who comes in obvious passing situations, is a defensive end. Now, it's a defensive end, and he's going to drop in coverage. I want you to keep an eye on him and see what he does here in space, because he's got to be able to make a play to contain Braxton Miller. He can't let him get out there, and he does a very good job of forcing him back inside. Once he does, look at the rest of the defense there to help him. Great job by a big guy, 260 pounds, of containing Miller.
Fenwick Mark will return punts, as well as run as their number 1 back tonight. And this one was downed at about the 1-foot line. Terrific special teams work.
Remember, this punt team penned Wisconsin back a number of times last week.
So his heel apparently was not on the goal line because the official was right there. And there you see the trophy, the coach's trophy, presented by Dr. Pepper. It'll be awarded to the winner of the Vizio BCS National Championship on January 6th in Pasadena. Coulter, number 2, checks in, and Green is the running back. Right straight ahead with Coulter to give the Wildcats just a little daylight.
A home game for Northwestern, but at that part of the stadium, probably the loudest it is as far as favoring Ohio State and trying to be a distraction for Northwestern.
Now you can see the sea of red here tonight. Far side belongs to the Buckeye faithful, near side to the Wildcat fans. 2nd down and 7. Pick up about a yard on that play. Very content to be very conservative coming out here. Pat Fitzgerald not electing to gamble on that. So it brings up 3rd down.
Up to this point, you're right. Being conservative on the first 2 downs. At the same time, you don't want to have to punt from deep in your own territory. It's a big 3rd down for both teams. Ohio State could get great field position, and Northwestern doesn't want to have to punt from back inside their own end zone.
From the end zone, Coulter in trouble, dashes out of it. Not going to get the 1st down. They're going to be forced to punt. Terrific stop by Washington, number 92, the sophomore from Cincinnati's Taft High School.
Michael Bennett, the last few years or last few weeks, is really emerging. When they leave him alone with a single man trying to block him in pass protection, his quickness, he's becoming just too much. And he forced Kane Coulter out of the pocket. And that was a big stop there by Ohio State's defense, and a great job there by Michael Bennett.
Brandon Williams, standing in the Wildcat end zone, will punt it away. They're in top of it. They swallow it for a touchdown. Ohio State touchdown. Bradley Roby, number 1. Coming back from an off week against Wisconsin, Roby delivers a big play for the Buckeyes as they lead again.
Urban Meyer always emphasizes special teams. This is a huge block by Roby. You can also see Ryan Shazier getting in there, and he just jumped right on top of it. A bounce back play by Bradley Roby. Brent, as you said after last, he had a tough week this week. Having to see all those plays by Jared Abadaris. That's a big play by him here early in this game.
You know, Herbie, you don't often see somebody swallow a football like that and then recover it. So the Buckeyes regain the lead on the block punt. Bradley Roby from Sewanee, Georgia, a junior, and just made a huge special teams play for Urban Meyer. Urban, of course, has always, and I mean always, coached the special teams no matter where he's been.
It comes right off of the edge, but I tell you, Ryan Shazier just blew up the snapper. And if Bradley Roby didn't get it, I'm not so sure Shazier might not have gotten it as well. But you're right, usually you see it go out of the end zone, but he almost caught that on a fly.
10-7. And remember what set up that blocked punt was the Buckeye punt to the 1 yard line. And actually it was closer to the 1 foot line. And Northwestern not able to get a first down, punting from their own end zone, and Roby delivered. They'll take a knee and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. 7 races left. NASCAR's best continue their drive for the championship. Points leader Matt Kenseth looks to hold off Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch for the top spot. There's your standings. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas, presented by Dodge Trucks. And if you follow NASCAR at all, you know there have been some wild endings in Kansas. So that shapes up as a dandy.
Go back to Kane Coulter at quarterback, and we'll see if we eventually see Simeon get back in there. But with Coulter in there, there's the quick pass game and also running the football with he and Mark in the backfield.
Mark, the ball carrier, straight up the middle, shy of the 30-yard line. Well, Venric Mark came to Northwestern where he started as a receiver. And again, he has sat out 3 games plus with that lower leg injury. And they were saving him with one eye on this game. In practice this week, he's run very well. So we'll see what happens. Play action to him. And Coulter on the move and complete to Mike Jensen, the senior from Rancho Santa Fe, California.
Yeah, I think the Northwestern passing game, no matter whether it's Coulter or Simeon in there, is going to be a big part of their offensive attack. Curtis Grant came on the blitz, and he got away from the pressure by rolling away from Grant and made a great throw on the run.
And then back to the running game on first down with Mark again.
Yeah, Mark is just a different feel when he gets in there. He's so explosive, very different than Trumpy and Green. And you see Simeon now check back into the game, and Ohio State has to make that adjustment. When they see 13 run onto the field and Kane Coulter stay on the field in the slot, they've been repping that all week, and they have to make the right adjustment to be aware of 2 now as a receiver.
2nd down and 7. Simeon fires just short of the first down with a tally. Nice tackle that time by Barnett, C.J. Barnett, the safety. I remember what Herbie told you. Corey Brown, nicknamed Pitt, forced to come in at the other safety. Christian Bryant, of course, injured. He broke his ankle right near the end of the Wisconsin game.
They bring their power back in. Mike Trumpy.
His uncle was Bob Trumpy. Played in the NFL. First down with number 32. Went to Wheaton North High School. Mike Trumpy picks up the first down.
Jeff Magas, left guard, does a good job of picking up this blitz. Pretty well timed. You see that right? It was almost just a trap block on Curtis Grant. Grant came free up the middle. Left guard just in time is able to pick him up, and that freed up Trumpy to pick up the first down.
Option. Mark with a good pair of hands on that play. That was not a good pitch. Mark objects a little bit to how he was taken down, but watch this pitch and the hands.
It was a heck of a play going back to his receiver days. He was barely able to secure that before Pitt Brown makes that play in space.
Bathed in purple in honor of the Northwestern Wildcats here at homecoming, Herbie.
Very nice. It's a big one for the Bears, right?
Yeah, it is. So Simeon is the quarterback for the Wildcats on this 2nd and 8. Moving to the left. Far side, shows his arm off beautifully that time to Christian Jones. His first reception at a first down. Herbie, you can see the zip on his ball.
Yeah, and I love the different looks that they're giving the Ohio State defense. A little action, just enough to hold the linebackers, roll them to the outside. Linebackers coming in on it, but look, there's a loss of the safety that time. Pitt Brown is lost in coverage, and again, we can't say it enough. Christian Bryant, not just a great player, but a veteran, a real leader, out not playing in this game.
So now they come back with Coulter, and Mark bangs off one. Tough run by Mark. Corey Brown was banged, and Fitzgerald, the old linebacker, said that's the way to hit a defensive player.
That really can set the tone. Mark turns the corner here, and here comes the safety. Bang! Little guy's showing some power, and Pat Fitzgerald told us this week he's one of the toughest players he's ever been around, whether as a former player or as a coach now. He lowers his shoulder. We just talked about Pitt Brown, who was beaten coverage. Now he doesn't get low enough, and Mark runs him over.
Coulter is the quarterback. They come right back with Mark. First down and goal from the 3-yard line for the Wildcats, who've gone to the muscle game here on the last couple of plays. They're keeping the Buckeyes a little off balance.
The left tackle, Canopta coming around. He picks up a nice block on a linebacker. And there's just a different feel to this offense with Mark and the acceleration that he brings to the offense. He mixed in all the rest of it. The window dressing, they mix up play action, do a good job of making you respect the horizontal passing game, and then they accelerate downhill with Benrick Mark.
Look at that sort of shotgun full house look. They move to the right with an option. Coulter keeps it, end zone, touchdown. Wildcats regain the lead.
Sometimes you hear people talk about two quarterbacks don't work. Trevor Siemian just led this team right down the field inside of that 5-yard line. And all of a sudden the defense has to adjust to Kane Coulter in an option attack. That's the defense's worst nightmare inside a 5-yard line. And if you don't make the proper adjustments and in a hurry, here comes number 2, a little shake, and into the end zone. That's tough.
Bud Zane with the punter holding. Williams puts it down. Formation, and now it'll be up to Urban Meyer and Luke Fickell, his defensive coordinator, and I'm sure they will adjust as they have looked at several option plays here already.
Yeah, it's one of the options of having a veteran like Kane Coulter with the skill set that he has, not just the passing that he and Simeon have put on display tonight, but you have to deal with that option attack. And Ohio State sees it in practice, but it's been run tonight at a different tempo in a different way that they've been able to attack here early.
Bud Zane with one of the big legs in the conference. Coming out of the 25-yard line. You know, you have to go back to 2004, the last time Northwestern defeated Ohio State. It was right here. Santonio Holmes, game-time touchdown, minute 49 to go. Top half of the first overtime, Mike Nugent missed a 40-yard field goal. Then the bottom half, it was Noel Herron scoring the game winner. The Wildcats upset number 7 Ohio State, 33-27.
Yeah, that was a big win, as you can see, for Northwestern. And just being on this campus the last 48 hours, they're thinking about trying to shock the world again. You can see Ohio State has been able to win quite a few games in this series over the last 30 years. Only lost that one game.
On first down, Miller with plenty of time, can't find a receiver. Takes off and picks up 8 yards on first down.
Can go back to Northwestern's game plan. They are very well aware of Braxton Miller's arm strength. They want to keep everything in front of them. They want to make Ohio State earn everything that they get. They're willing to give up some yards, but they don't want to give up the home run and allow them to get behind them in coverage. That's why you're seeing Braxton Miller run occasionally, hit some passes underneath. They want to see if Ohio State can execute in the red zone.
2nd and 1, and it's Hyde for the first down. Let's check in down below with Heather Cox.
This Ohio State defense is frustrated, especially defensive tackle Michael Bennett, who just really is the vocal leader of this team, and he is flat out angry. Gathered the defense saying, everyone's saying we're okay. We aren't okay. We aren't fine. We're losing, and it's because you're not doing your jobs. That's what it's all about. Play assignment football, especially against the option. Get it done. Very frustrated sideline, guys.
First down and 10. Hyde. Good ball fake by Miller. I thought for a moment he'd handed it off to Hyde, and instead he was thrown to Devin Smith that time, and it was incomplete. It'll be second down at 10.
Interesting that Heather talks about Michael Bennett down on that Ohio State sideline trying to get their defense's attention. Remember, you take away Christian Bryant, a 4-year starter, it's about who they don't know right now at this point in the season who is the leader of this defense. This is where you start to define some roles and find out when you're down 14-10.
Second and 10. Miller keeps it behind a Hyde block, runs for the first down. He's down to the Wildcat 45-yard line. Henry with the snap.
They create a numbers advantage because they read in their zone read scheme with Braxton Miller. The line having their way up front, and they're giving Braxton Miller some room to run. Both he and Carlos Hyde right now doing a very good job of picking up running yards. Northwestern, again, willing to concede that part of their defensive plan.
Jeff Hireman moves over to the right side of the formation. Another play action by Miller. Deep drop, going to go for a long strike, incomplete. Evan Spencer working deep. Let's go to Chris Cotter for an update. All right, Chris, thank you. And here it's 14-10 Wildcats. These two teams have gone seesawing here in the first half. Braxton Miller with a 2nd and 10. Braxton going to follow Hyde again. And down he goes, and that was Henry again, the safety from Fort Lauderdale Lakes, Florida.
Braxton Miller already 8 carries in this football game. He takes a hit here from the big safety, Henry. Head-to-head collision there as Miller's a free target when he runs with the football.
3rd and 5. Hyde. First down, Ohio State.
That is a big push. Watch this by the Ohio State offensive line. 3rd down here. Carlos Hyde running very determined behind that line, but that's a great surge from the Ohio State line on 3rd down to pick up the first down. But Carlos Hyde right now picking up big chunks of yards against this Wildcat defense.
Ezekiel Elliott, number 15, replaces Hyde as the running back. Miller, Corey Brown, another first down. This 1st and goal for the Buckeyes.
Well, he had all day to throw, and he stretched the defense way downfield. But look at all this time. Nobody's getting close to him. Philly Brown aborts his route. He just stopped, turned around, and looked around. There's nobody in the middle of the defense, and he just stopped, waved his arms, and because of all the time that Braxton Miller had to throw, eventually he found him wide open in the middle of the defense.
Hyde to the 5. Let me check that. That was Elliott. Hyde has not returned. Has now.
This is what the game's going to come down to, whether or not Ohio State can score touchdowns in the red zone or do they have to settle for field goals.
Miller's option. Hyde. out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Boy, great job by Colin Ellis, the outside linebacker. He's got to be able to get out here because it's man coverage on the outside. He's got to be able to get off of the block from Newhart, which he does, and he affected Hyde and slowed him down to let the rest of the Wildcats get there. It's a great job of getting away from the block and having instincts and speed to make a play.
3rd and goal. Miller, incomplete. He overthrew his target. Chris Fields was working deep, and Miller threw too high.
It's a rub route, and 2 Northwestern defenders ran right into one another, and it opened up Chris Fields. Braxton Miller just short-armed the ball, and the ball sailed on him. But if he would have just hung on just maybe a second longer, you would have seen Fields break free because of those 2 Northwestern Wildcat defenders ran right into each other on the rub route.
Drew Basil. This will be a 20-yard attempt. Guyton the holder. And it's a 1-point game. Basil. There's Harris at the 20, and he's to the 26-yard line.
Again, Northwestern stops him in the red zone, but you're going to see Fields go to the corner. He ends up getting open, but 2 Ohio State receivers right here, Philly Brown and the running back, Carlos Hyde. Watch what they do here. The 2 Northwestern defenders right there. They run into one another. Fields breaks free. He's all alone in the end zone for a touchdown.
And then Urban Meyer over on the sideline.
He knows that his offense is going to move the ball, but if they're going to win the game, they need touchdowns in the red zone.
Urban is always worried about him not stepping into his throws.
Yep.
You know, Herbie told us that's been a big problem. Draw play. Here's Mark. Tough wrestler out to the 30-yard line. Well, Herbie, I had to take charge of the Aflac again, but I did like seeing your puffs.
That's good.
Anyway, here we go. Northwestern's defeated Ohio State 5 times since 1950. Which head coach has led the Wildcats to the most wins over that span? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Simeon with the arm throws for the first down to Rashad Lawrence, a senior from Orlando, Florida. Herbie, the one thing you notice about Northwestern when you look at the roster, first and foremost, they go to Ohio. Obviously, they recruit kids here in Illinois. But after that, it's California, Texas, Florida, Georgia. They're going all over right now.
Ohio, for obvious reasons, where high school football is outstanding and there's great depth. But you're right, because of the academics and what a great institution, they're able to recruit the entire nation to bring players here to play for Pat Fitzgerald.
Coulter was working in the slot. Simeon comes on back. Nice move by Lawrence. And again, the Wildcats are moving the ball against Urban Meyer's defense.
What a versatile attack. It's not just Kane Coulter or Venrick Mark, Trevor Simeon. We're calling a lot of different names out. And I'll tell you, when Simeon is in rhythm, you get him back and you're not going to challenge his receivers off the line of scrimmage. He's going to complete a lot of balls.
Mark motions out. Backfield is empty. Buckeyes coming with 6. Shays are trying to get there. They hit Mark. Mark is loose. 30 to the 11-yard line. The blitz didn't get there.
They blitzed him, and they left Bradley Roby isolated against a former wide receiver and Venrick Mark. This is a matchup that they wanted to try to exploit. Simeon's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And because Roby tried to get there to make a big play, it left Mark open in the open field. And Venrick Mark in the open field is dangerous for anybody. Poor play there by Roby and a big play by Mark. I'm not comparing him to Reggie Bush, but I can't help it. When he's number 5 in the open field, he looks a lot like Reggie did in college.
Yeah, 41 yards of Reggie there. Kane Coulter back in as the quarterback. They've run the option out of this formation, remember.
Pat called a timeout.
Northwestern out. That's how big a surprise it was that year.
That's crazy.
Coulter and Green are in. Coulter on a quarterback draw to the 6-yard line.
Boy, attacking in so many different ways. And what it does is it stresses the safeties and, again, the linebackers and their eyes, where you got to think about, is Venric Mark going to get the ball? Is Kane Coulter out into slot? Kane Coulter's under center. Got to worry about the option. Now you got to worry about quarterback draw. Quick pass to the outside. They're just putting a lot of pressure on the Ohio State defense because of how multiple they are and how they attack with this offense.
2nd and 5. Coulter keeps it, and he's going to be thrown for a loss by Shazier. Ryan Shazier, and of course, if you're wondering why he's wearing number 2, that's in honor of Christian Bryant, who broke an ankle last week and has been lost for the season, so he'll wear number 2 the rest of the year.
That was a big play on 2nd down, considering the quarterback Coulter has been hurting Ohio State with his mobility. That time Shazier in perfect position to contain him and bring him down.
So that brings Trevor Siemian in as the trigger man on 3rd and 9. Buckeyes are coming again. Siemian steps away and not going to get the first down. That brings up 4th down now for Coach Fitzgerald, and a decision here.
And a great call by Luke Fickell and the Ohio State defensive staff. Seeing Trevor Siemian back there, obviously doesn't have the same mobility. Bring the pressure before the play can establish and get to him. Remember, Northwestern's been doing a good job with Siemian, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. That time, he didn't have a chance to allow his pass play to develop because Luke Fickell brought the blitz.
One of the most accurate kickers in the Big Ten a year ago. Missed only 1. He's already missed 2 this year. But Bud Zine nails this one.
Siemian loved to probably have that last play back, but the Buckeyes did blitz him. You know, we've been talking so much about these quarterbacks. The one thing we don't want to overlook is with 5 minutes to go in the first half, Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator, has put together a heck of a plan in defending Ohio State's offense and the big playability of Braxton Miller and his wide receivers.
Good football coach. Been around the block. So here is Wilson taking another knee, and let me remind everybody about ESPN's Monday Night Football. Geno Smith and the Jets face a tough road test. They head to Atlanta to take on Matt Ryan and the Falcons. When you take a look at the 2 quarterbacks, of course, Matty Ice has taken a team to the NFC Championship game. Geno Smith has taken the reins of the Jets this year. This is going to be interesting, folks, to see what the rookie does in a domed arena on Monday night. Sometimes it is very, very tough.
Is that a tip?
Carlos Hyde, no gain. Wayne Lowry making a stop.
Lowry gets some penetration and just closes in a hurry. And if that was a read, and I think it was, that's a bad read and a miscue for Braxton Miller. It's easy to look at that and say, geez, why didn't anybody block him? But Braxton Miller's accountable for him on the zone read, and when the defensive end collapses, he's got to pull the ball out and take off and run with it.
Now Hyde.
Go back to that opening drive. Remember how Ohio State started the game? I mean, they were throwing the football, and they had some success. They ended up settling for a field goal. But since that opening drive, Braxton Miller is 1 of 5 with a fumble and a sack. So they've taken him away from passing the football, and they're making Ohio State go the long way by running with Miller and with Hyde.
3rd down. Incomplete. Ohio State forced to punt with 3:38 to go in the first half.
This is a big sequence of plays for Northwestern to come up with his stop. Ball is thrown right where Hireman needs to be able to make that play. They attack the linebackers, and the frustration continues for Ohio State's offense and for Braxton Miller.
So Mark will go back. And remember, one of the best punt returners in the nation. Healthy now. Johnston will take off on a fake. Trying to get to corner. Down. Oh my. Oh my. A fake punt at 3:38 from that spot in the field. And Jensen, Mike Jensen, makes the play.
About a wide receiver making a play like this, the awareness, it's not the tackle, it's the awareness. What a risky move by Ohio State, and right there the receiver in the open field takes Johnston out. Boy, a gutsy call by Urban Meyer to try to spark his team here before the first half, and it backfires on him by a heads-up play by the receiver Jensen.
Simeon and Mark is the running back. So Simeon will be the trigger man here from the Buckeye 30-yard line. Little slip screen to Mark on the outside, and he picks up almost 10 yards. I think it's going to be Mark just a little bit short. Coming up now, stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report. Scores and highlights. Busy day of college football. Georgia survives against Tennessee, but it took an overtime to do it. 3 minutes remain here. 2nd down and 1. First down with Mark, and Mark to the 13-yard line.
They attack wide to Coulter, go back up to the middle with Venrick Mark. Again, Ohio State, just by being a little hesitant with the linebackers because they're waiting to see how the play develops, it gives the linemen a chance to get up to the second level and gives them better blocking angles. Go back to it again this entire first half. The fact that they're so multiple and attacking in so many different ways is creating hesitation from the Buckeyes defense.
Coulter is one of the slot receivers. Simeon will throw the other direction, incomplete to Mark, and it will be 2nd down.
Caught Ryan Shazier on a blitz, and it freed up Joey Bosa, the true freshman defensive end, to get the pressure that time on Ohio State. I'll tell you, it seems like when Simeon is in there, the best that Ohio State's done in defending Simeon is to tighten up their coverage on the outside and bring pressure, because a lot of those quick throws, you're getting the ball to an athlete like Coulter, getting the ball to an athlete like Venrick Mark out in space and making Ohio State have to try to tackle them out there, which is tough to do.
Mike Trumpy back in the backfield. Coulter is the quarterback. Trumpy. And he's to about the 9-yard line, and now it will be 3rd down.
It's a little bit of a strategy back and forth. Ohio State 3 timeouts. Northwestern they're not in a hurry at all with Pat Fitzgerald. They get the football to start the second half. They won the toss, deferred, so they're thinking about not just this drive, but how this drive will end and this first half will end before they get the ball to start the second half.
Not wanting to give them much time either. Remember what happened to the Badgers late in the first half a week ago. And Fitzgerald's going to continue to burn seconds here before the 3rd down. And then, of course, he can use his last one and kick a field goal if he doesn't make a first down.
Yeah, that 503 t-shirt. Let's get excited.
While you're away, Herbie, you said some interesting things about Northwestern's confidence in this game.
They just come across as a very confident football team. I think people that aren't familiar with this program are thinking, oh, it's a big stage, it's the big lights, how are they going to respond? This is a team that was 3 games away last year from having the lead in the 4th quarter, away from being undefeated. They beat Mississippi State in a bowl game. Their entire offseason was built around this. 5 minutes and 3 seconds away from being undefeated. They use this in their weight room. That was entire offseason focus about finishing and finishing. They had the lead on Nebraska, Michigan, and Penn State. They weren't able to close the door. So with 15 returning starters, this team in this first half, they're not in awe at all of Ohio State in this atmosphere. They almost seem like they're welcoming it as if they belong here, and they're out there executing, having fun.
3rd down and 6. Simeon's the trigger man. Steps up, in trouble, sacked. Going to be brought down, and there's an injured Buckeye on the play. Bennett appeared to be clutching a wrist or an arm. Seems to be okay now, and now he'll wind the clock down again.
A bull rush that time, Brent, from Jamal Marcus, who comes in obvious passing situations, the sophomore out of Durham, North Carolina. He just went right over the top of Paul Jorgensen. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but that time he showed that he's not only has some quickness but some power.
The ball is down on the field closer to the left hash mark for Jeff Budzane. And let us go to Chris Cotter for an update. Chris. (14-13) at the intermission.
Yeah, some good games all day today. I think the sequence of plays there and the fact that they get the ball back to start the second half had as much to do with Pat Fitzgerald working the clock, as you said, not giving Braxton Miller much time to work with. And I think that's why they're very, very content with the sack, kept the clock running, give him a chance to get a field goal here, and then see if their defense can finish off a pretty good first half for them.
(29-yard) attempt on its way. Good. So it's a 7-point Northwestern lead. And let's go back to last year now and take a look. Herbie mentioned the fourth quarter letdowns, and the first one was against Penn State as the Nittany Lions came on big time in the fourth quarter, Herbie, and then it was against Nebraska.
Yeah, they're up 28-16 against Nebraska, and they end up losing 29-28 and a missed last-second field goal. How about this one against Michigan?
Unbelievable reception. That forced overtime, and the Wolverines beat Northwestern, and there are the scores, the result last season, like Herbie said, 503 away from an undefeated season.
I like the concept with Coach Fitzgerald, especially when you return so many players, 15 starters, and a great senior class that were a part of that and dealt with that. Make them remember it. Make them taste that in the offseason to try to drive them in and have a productive 2013 season.
Wilson, the speedster, standing back on the goal line.
And remember, Brent, that fake field goal in Ohio State's own territory that did not work, or fake punt rather, that did not work out, ended up getting Northwestern that field goal.
Another knee. 55 seconds left for Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes. Well, get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN, 10 a.m. Eastern. Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman of the gang will have the latest news and updates from stadiums around the league. And there will be an interview with Richard Sherman of the Seattle Seahawks on the fine art of trash talking. And then at 11 on ESPN2, catch fantasy football. Get your team ready. That's tomorrow morning on ESPN.
Did Ray Lewis look like he could still play or what in that shot?
He did indeed. Braxton. That stops the clock momentarily. They pick up a couple more seconds here.
Ohio State all 3 timeouts. As clock stops after the first down. Ohio State thinking about trying to get some points here before the half.
So you can see the measurements. Last week, 24 points before the half. And they struck very late on a touchdown pass. Miller fires to Hyde for a first down. Stopping the clock with these first downs close to midfield.
rallies.
Let's take you back.
Well, that big playability is what Northwestern, I think, took away from watching that game with Braxton Miller. I mean, that was, again, their entire focus was what Miller can do throwing the football, and with his improvement of Devin Smith and Evan Spencer, Chris Fields, Dontre Wilson, Corey Brown, and they've been able to contain him. Again, it's one half of football, or actually not even quite one half of football, but that was the game plan, and so far they've been able to accomplish that.
Northwestern rushes 4. Incomplete to Hyde, and it'll be second down. The clock winds down to 25 seconds left here in the first half.
The last couple plays, Ohio State has given Braxton Miller time, and there's some big holes over the middle of that Northwestern defense. Corey Brown has gotten in there the last 2 times.
It is third down. So it is third down, need 1. Hyde may not have gotten it. Let's see where the spot is going to be. They're right on the line as they come down, and may have fallen into it for the first down. If the yellow line is completely accurate, and it certainly has been this season, that is a first down with 21 seconds to go.
Good play there by Will Hampton, the senior out of Houston, Texas. Just slanting up front, went right by the offensive lineman from Ohio State.
We check what's gone on around the country, and we opened the broadcast talking about a couple of ACC teams on the roll. Georgia had to go to overtime. Stanford starting later on ESPN against the University of Washington. There is the measurement, and it is indeed a first down. But Herbie, I guess the question on everybody's mind, Florida State probably going to jump Louisville, would you think?
I would think so. I mean, Florida State, I mean, that was a dominant performance, and we don't know how good Maryland really was, but Jameis Winston continues to shine, and that offense is really, really explosive.
Northwestern still rushing 4. Intercepted. Picked off by Chichi Arleguzzo, young man from Ohio.
Well, the pressure that time from Ohio State, 2 Ohio players that played high school football in Ohio ended up making the play here for Northwestern. Odenigbo out of Centerville coming off the right edge, gets right through Taylor Decker and gets his hand into the hand of Braxton Miller and forces the ball to go up into the air. Arleguzzo does a good job. He's also from Ohio. He's from DeSales in Columbus. Ball goes straight up in the air, and being alert and aware, he makes a good play. And again, Brent, can't say it enough. They pride themselves on creating turnovers. That's the second one tonight.
Win the turnover battle when you're an underdog and you can be in business. Okay, Northwestern will receive the second half kickoff, holding a 7-point lead. They will go on offense first. Harris will take a knee, and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. Herbie, let's check in now on the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, again, we've talked a lot about how Northwestern plans to attack Ohio State, and it's not so much about the yards, 213 yards. It's just the way they've kept Ohio State off balance and capitalized on their chances. Ohio State did 2 turnovers, the one there, the interception right before the half, along with the Braxton Miller fumble. Don't forget also the miscue on the fake punt. Northwestern was able to stop Ohio State in their own territory and come away with 3 points.
So Kane Coulter opens at quarterback. And here is Mark, the running back, Venrick Mark. And let's check in down below with Heather Cox. What did Coach Fitzgerald have to say?
Well, Pat said the way they were able to rattle Braxton Miller was really to keep him in front of him and keep him inside of him, but he did admit he expects a lot more deep balls here in the second half. I also asked about the message in the locker room at halftime, and he said he had a Navy SEAL come in and talk to the team before the game, asked him to reach his hand up, and then they said reach up a little bit higher. So Coach Fitzgerald's message, reach higher in the second half.
And they did just that right there. Lawrence, again, it's 1st and 10 at the 45. Navy SEALs. They did some more good work.
I'm very surprised that Ohio State is not challenging the Northwestern wide receivers a little bit more and trying to reroute them or challenge the timing between the quarterbacks and receivers. They're giving them a big cushion.
Coulter slips it off now on 1st down to Mark. They've used Mark to the right and to the left as a pass receiver. Remember, he came to Northwestern as a wide receiver before they moved him to running back.
What a big difference his presence makes. Not just the production, his presence, because of the big playability. And he's a back that if he hits one crease, he can get 20 yards downfield in a hurry. And just a big difference between he and the other two backs, Trumpy and Green.
2nd down and 6. Here is Mark. Trying to get a 1st down over there on the far side. He's short of it.
Keep in mind when you watch him run, he's 175 pounds out there. Pat Fitzgerald says he's one of the toughest guys he's ever been around, and he's gotten better at getting off of arm tackles. There's Bradley Roby with a chance to make a tackle. He shakes him. There's another stiff arm attempt against Shazier. He is different now. He's gotten stronger, but again, 175 pounds at 5'8", running tough out there for Northwestern.
Third down, 1st down. I believe he had it. Let's see where they mark it. I thought he had the forward progress, and it looks like they're going to mark it that right. Herbie, before I get off the subject, the point I wanted to make about the Navy SEALs, they extracted an enormous price for what happened over in Nairobi, over in Africa today. And congratulations to that group again. Those warriors have become some of the best in the world at what they do. And they got it done again today, and our hats are off to everybody who is a Navy SEAL in this country. 1st down and 10. Green is the running back. Crosses the 40-yard line, and Spence making the snap.
Kane Coulter a little frustrated with himself because of the name you just said, Noah Spence. Spence went down and followed Green, and Coulter, if he pulled that out, he's downfield for 15 or 20 yards.
Slipping it to the outside. Beautiful move by Vitale. Vitale with an athletic move picks up another 1st down. This is an impressive opening drive here in the 1st half.
Play action, freezes the linebackers, gives the receiver a chance to make a block on Shazier. And Vitale is very athletic. You look at him, you think he's just a big bruiser, a fullback, but good athletic ability there.
Coulter back, fires another strike right over the middle to Jensen. Jensen made a huge defensive play. He stopped that fake punt, and now he comes back and gives the Wildcats a 1st down around about the 10-yard line.
Just right now, this is a rhythmic attack by Northwestern and Kane Coulter and how they're going after the Buckeyes. A little
Green, the running back, was stopped as he comes behind the middle of his offensive line. You know, we haven't spoken, Herbie, about Kanopka, Mogus, Vitobile, Park, and Jorgensen. That's that offensive line, and they have done an especially outstanding job on this particular drive.
Mick McCall, as a play caller, has done a really good job in how he's tried to attack. Remember, it's not Trevor Siemian back there. It's Kane Coulter running and throwing, and now this is usually how they attack with the option look as well.
2nd and goal, and here it is. Mark got the pitch. Not much doing. Barnett, C.J. Barnett, number 4, making the stop. So we'll look at the 5 fellas up front. Focus in on the center. Brandon Vitobile. He's out of Edison, New Jersey. He's one of the better centers in the Big Ten.
Still an offensive line with 3 new starters, where they're still trying to develop that continuity, but they're growing up tonight as Siemian comes back in.
Now Siemian and the other quarterback right there. That's Kane Coulter. He has caught a touchdown pass in this game. 3rd and goal. Siemian's in trouble. He is ripped down that time. Michael Bennett, the leader up front, is in with Noah Spence. They blow it up, and again, They have forced the Wildcats to settle for a field goal attempt here.
They took Coulter away where they bracket him with a safety in the middle and a linebacker on the outside. But Bennett showing again when he's left alone and has a chance to utilize his quickness, he can put a lot of pressure on the Northwestern quarterback. Good job of pressuring him there.
Just to make it a 2-score lead. Bud Zine with a 32-yard field goal. Strong sack. And the Wildcats settle again for 3. Northwestern leading Ohio State 20-13. Homecoming in the Big Ten opener for the Wildcats. And the Buckeyes without an offensive touchdown. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. And Herbie, there is one stat that just boggles my mind. We have not had a single penalty in this football game.
Knock on wood.
Did I jinx it?
Yeah, let's see if we can continue that in the second half. Story to me has been a couple of things. Number one, you got to talk about the quarterbacks from Northwestern, the way they're attacking the Ohio State defense. Created 2 turnovers. They've done an amazing job defensively in the first half. Still 30 minutes to go of defending Braxton Miller and the Ohio State offense. We haven't seen any big plays, and since that opening drive, Ohio State's offense has really been stymied and slowed down quite a bit.
Okay, Northwestern will receive the second half kickoff. Holding a 7-point lead. They will go on offense first. Harris will take a knee and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. Herbie, let's check in now on the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, again, we've talked a lot about how Northwestern plans to attack Ohio State, and it's not so much about the yards, 213 yards. It's just the way they've kept Ohio State off balance and capitalized on their chances. Ohio State did 2 turnovers, the one there, the interception right before the half, along with the Braxton Miller fumble. Don't forget also the miscue on the fake punt. Northwestern was able to stop Ohio State in their own territory and come away with 3 points.
So Kane Coulter opens at quarterback. And here is Mark, the running back, Venrick Mark. And let's check in down below with Heather Cox. What did Coach Fitzgerald have to say?
Well, Pat said the way they were able to rattle Braxton Miller was really to keep him in front of him and keep him inside of him. But he did admit he expects a lot more deep balls here in the second half. I also asked about the message in the locker room at halftime, and he said he had a Navy SEAL come in and talk to the team before the game, asked him to reach his hand up, and then they said reach up a little bit higher. So Coach Fitzgerald's message, reach higher in the second half.
And they did just that right there. Lawrence, again, it's 1st and 10 at the 45. Navy SEALs. They did some more good work.
I'm very surprised that Ohio State is not challenging the Northwestern wide receivers a little bit more and trying to reroute them or challenge the timing between the quarterbacks and receivers. They're giving them a big cushion.
Coulter slips it off now on 1st down to Mark. They've used Mark to the right and to the left as a pass receiver. Remember, he came to Northwestern as a wide receiver before they moved him to running back.
What a big difference his presence makes. Not just the production, his presence, because of the big playability. And he's a back that if he hits one crease, he can get 20 yards downfield in a hurry. And just a big difference between he and the other 2 backs, Trumpy and Green.
2nd down and 6. Here is Mark. Trying to get a 1st down over there on the far side. He's short of it.
Keep in mind when you watch him run, he's 175 pounds out there. Pat Fitzgerald says he's one of the toughest guys he's ever been around, and he's gotten better at getting off of arm tackles. There's Bradley Roby with a chance to make a tackle. He shakes him. There's another stiff arm attempt against Shazier. He is different now. He's gotten stronger, but again, 175 pounds at 5'8", running tough out there for Northwestern.
third down, first down. I believe he had it. Let's see where they mark it. I thought he had the forward progress, and it looks like they're going to mark it in that right. Herbie, before I get off the subject, the point I wanted to make about the Navy SEALs, they extracted an enormous price for what happened over in Nairobi, over in Africa today. And congratulations to that group again. Those warriors have become some of the best in the world at what they do. And they got it done again today. And our hats are off to everybody who is a Navy SEAL in this country. First down and 10. Green is the running back. Crosses the 40-yard line, and Spence making the snap.
Kane Coulter a little frustrated with himself because of the name you just said, Noah Spence. Spence went down and followed Green, and Coulter, if he pulled that out, he's downfield for 15 or 20 yards.
Slipping it to the outside. Beautiful move by Vitale. Vitale with an athletic move picks up another first down. This is an impressive opening drive here in the first half.
Play action, freezes the linebackers, gives the receiver a chance to make a block on Shazier. And Vitale is very athletic. You look at him, you think he's just a big bruiser, a fullback, but good athletic ability there.
Coulter back, fires another strike right over the middle to Jensen. Jensen made a huge defensive play. He stopped that fake punt, and now he comes back and gives the Wildcats a first down around about the 10-yard line.
Just right now, this is a rhythmic attack by Northwestern and Kane Coulter and how they're going after the Buckeyes. A little bit.
The running back was stopped as he comes behind the middle of his offensive line. You know, we haven't spoken, Herbie, about Kanapka, Mogus, Vitobile, Park, and Jorgensen. That's that offensive line, and they have done an especially outstanding job on this particular drive.
Mick McCall, as a play caller, has done a really good job in how he's tried to attack. Remember, it's not Trevor Simeon back there. It's Kane Coulter running and throwing, and now this is usually how they attack with the option look as well.
Second and goal, and here it is. Mark got the pitch. Not much doing. Barnett, C.J. Barnett, number 4, making the stop. So we'll look at the 5 fellas up front. Focus in on the center. Brandon Vitobile. He's out of Edison, New Jersey. He's one of the better centers in the Big Ten.
Still an offensive line with 3 new starters where they're still trying to develop that continuity, but they're growing up tonight as Simeon comes back in.
Now Simeon and the other quarterback right there. That's Kane Coulter. He has caught a touchdown pass in this game. Third and goal. Simeon's in trouble. He is ripped down that time. Michael Bennett, the leader up front, is in with Noah Spence. They blow it up, and again, they have forced the Wildcats to settle for a field goal attempt here.
Well, they took Coulter away where they bracket him with a safety in the middle and a linebacker on the outside. But Bennett showing again when he's left alone and has a chance to utilize his quickness, he can put a lot of pressure on the Northwestern quarterback. Good job of pressuring him there.
Just to make it a 2-score lead. Bud Zine with a 32-yard field goal. NBA fellas working out, getting ready for the season ahead. And Bennett with a fine defensive play. Now, can the Buckeyes score an offensive touchdown? Wilson and Elliott are back deep. Bud Zine with a strong leg. Penalty went out of bounds. That's our first penalty flag of this football game.
That's what we knocked on wood there. Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator from Northwestern, talked about the importance of not giving Braxton Miller the easy one. So they're going downfield, taking away the vertical pass, forcing him to throw underneath. Here's again, soft coverage from Northwestern. Look at this. They have 3 guys 10 and 15 yards deep, forcing Braxton Miller to read coverage and have to either eat the ball or check it down or throw it away. Done a really good job of the first 30 minutes of containing them. Remember, they came into tonight 119th in the nation at 308 yards a game through the air, and so far they've done a very good job of defending Miller.
Now, offensive coordinator Tom Herman is matched against a defensive coordinator. Play action. Fires it off to Spencer for about 9 yards. Van Hoos is right there. When we talked to Herman last night about the Wildcat defense, he said it reminded him of Norm Parker's defense at Iowa. Remember, he was a long-time defensive coordinator for Kirk Ferentz down there. Not a lot of blitzing by the Wildcats, but you can't trick them. They always stay in position. Mike linebacker stays right there in the box. So the Buckeye coach is upstairs trying to solve it, and you can see that base 4. Now they do come with a blitz on that. They tried to get to Hyde and did not.
I think Ohio State's answer to what Northwestern is doing defensively, you mentioned that Norm Parker type of philosophy, bend but don't break, is they're going to have to control the line of scrimmage and run the football, which they had some success with Carlos Hyde. Try to get him his touches. They want to try to get him up to 25 to 30 touches. He has 11 so far. And then the underneath quick passing game out to the perimeter and the wide receivers, see if they can make a play out in space against the Northwestern defensive backs that are giving them quite a big cushion.
Wildcats rush 4, big opening for Hyde for a first down. Terrific blocking by the Buckeyes to blow that hole open on the left side offensively.
It's Jeff Hireman right there with a great block. He just submarined Damian Proby to open that up. And now this was their answer earlier to this kind of defense. They just weren't able to execute in the red zone, running the football with Hyde and getting the ball out quickly to their wide receivers on the quick game.
Rod Smith checks in as the running back. Braxton Miller dances to the right. And was able to sort of fall forward, keeping his balance as Eric Guzzo was trying to bring him down from behind. But Braxton made the most of that under pressure from Eric Guzzo.
Eric Guzzo is a former safety in high school and brings good speed to that linebacker position. Eric Guzzo on one side 44, Colin Ellis 45, and the other also a safety in high school. So they put a little weight on him, but they've been able to maintain their speed since their high school days.
Hyde checks back in. This is Hyde, the running back, for another first down and into that red zone. And to the offense, score a touchdown in the red zone and not settle for a field goal this time.
And that's been the story of the game. We said that from the beginning. Carlos Hyde, again, we always talk about how nifty he is, but there's the power running right through Colin Ellis as he elevated to get through the hole to pick up that first.
Play action. Quick strike to the outside for about 7 yards, and they put it in Corey Brown's. And now a penalty flag that's going to be tacked on. That was Van Hoos who threw him down.
Yeah, that's a good call. He body slammed Philly Brown after the whistle was blown, and a couple officials standing right there.
Personal foul. Defense, number 23.
You made a point at the end of the first half. Pat Fitzgerald was pretty fired up about that call. About when you're an underdog at home, you got to win the turnover battle, and you got to be able to avoid mistakes. Van Hoos comes up, keeps him short of the first down, and it's right there. After the whistle was blown, they called for progress right in front of the official, an easy call.
First down and goal from the 7-yard line for the Buckeyes. Miller, fumble, Northwestern, loose ball penalty. Northwestern finally recovered it, but there is a penalty flag down, so hang on.
I think he was maybe trying to throw a beanbag at the ball. Maybe a flag came out. We'll have to wait and see.
That's the third turnover of the game if it stands.
Holding. Offense, number 71. Penalties declined. Northwestern ball.
So it'll be Wildcat football. A huge turnover here.
Braxton Miller fighting for yards, and Northwestern, again, I think it was Damian Proby, the middle linebacker, who was being blocked, but just got a hand up towards Braxton Miller, and it looked like he knocked the ball free. Look at 46 right there being blocked by Lindsley, being held by Lindsley. That's where the hold call was, but he got his right hand on the football. It's the second time that Braxton Miller's put the ball on the ground.
Kane Coulter in as the Northwestern quarterback. Mark slips out. They throw to the near side, and it's Lawrence again who's going to be run out of bounds. About the 10-yard line, I believe.
Just a thought, you know, Braxton Miller showed last week he's the leader. This is his team. But with the offense struggling, you wonder if Urban Meyer might consider thinking about trying to spark this team with Kenny Guyton. It's something we'll have to look at later when Ohio State gets back on offense. He's grabbing a football.
2nd down and 6. Option look. Pitch. Mark knocked out of bounds short of that first down marker, which will bring up a 3rd down. C.J. Barnett pushed the running back out.
With this combination of Kane Coulter with Venrick Mark running the football, they've used so many different weapons at wide receiver. It's a big 3rd down after that turnover here.
Mark is taken out. Trumpy checks in. Option. Trumpy. Short of that first down, I believe. I believe that C.J. Barnett made a tremendous defensive play on Trumpy.
Yeah, he beat him to the corner. Northwestern with a back into the boundary with the option. They try to pitch off of Roby and get the more powerful Trumpy, hoping he'd turn his shoulders and get to that first down marker. But great closing speed by C.J. Barnett to keep him short of the first down.
Remember now, the Buckeyes have blocked 1 punt for a touchdown. Brandon Williams, senior punter. Corey Brown back deep. Did he touch it? There's a penalty flag.
Flag on the play.
Kick-catching interference on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Michael Wilbon, Adam Schefter, Mike Greenberg, who was there speaking to the youngsters. And I'm sure that the youngsters appreciated Mike coming up and giving him some of his time. First down and 10 now. Braxton Miller does stay in the game. Kenny Guyton has not come in as the Buckeye quarterback. Keeps it. About an 11-yard gain and a first down for the Buckeyes. Iraguzzo finally tackles the quarterback.
That time he did a great job of reading the defensive end, collapsing down. Remember, he misread that earlier. This time, a good job. And when you get him out there against a defensive back with room to work, he can make a lot of people miss. But good read and much better execution by Braxton Miller.
Straight back, and again, incomplete. And a penalty flag is thrown on the ball. Where was Braxton when he threw it, Herbie? Did you notice?
Yeah. He was on the move again, getting forced out of that backfield.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty.
The pressure that
Replay
time. Marcus Hall on a bull rush just held on. to the Northwestern defender and pulled him with him to the ground. Ohio State's defense bailing out the Buckeyes offense in the fumble to get him back to having good field position. There's Hall right in the middle. He just pulls him, Will Hampton, right down towards him.
First down and 20. Hyde, the ball carrier, to the 30-yard line, and you take a look at Braxton Miller's stats after his performance against the Badgers last week.
Yeah, Northwestern's done a very, very good job. They have a lot to do with those numbers and the way they've defended him. Not just him. It's easy to point the finger always at any quarterback when an offense struggles. But they've done a very good job on the Ohio State wide receivers, and they've also gotten pressure on him without having to always blitz. Not to mention the 3 turnovers.
Second and 14. Miller fires Smith short of the first down, and here's your third down and short with Campbell.
It's a great read, and he got the ball out in a hurry. Watch off to the left how this just opens up. 2 defenders. It's a mistake there by Northwestern's defense, and Braxton Miller with a quick read able to get the ball to Smith in a hurry.
Hyde picks up the first and more. Spins close to the 5-yard line.
And when Braxton Miller starts to throw the football, especially over the middle like that, it opens up running lanes and it gives Carlos Hyde a chance to be effective in the interior of that defense.
Here's Hyde stacked up, and it'll be second down and goal. Eric Guzzo being very active here lately, and
survival of the fittest out there, Brent. He's laying on his back saying, all right, I'm going to tap out here. Get another back in. Big Will Hampton looks like he's down. I think Carlos Hyde is just fatigued.
Player receiving attention from Northwestern, Will Hampton.
Let's check in with Chris Cotter for an update. Chris? All right, Chris, and it's good to see Hampton up and walking off the field.
Yeah, he's played well tonight, along with Chance Carter and C.J. Robbins. That entire defensive line has gotten pressure and done a good job of containing Miller. But with that injury, Carlos Hyde is able to come back into the game.
And headed for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. Their first offensive touchdown of the night. The other one in the first half was a blocked punt.
And give the Ohio State defense an assist for this touchdown. Ohio State fumbled deep in Northwestern territory in the red zone, and they got the ball on a 3-and-out after the penalty by Northwestern. Great field position, and the Buckeyes are able to capitalize on a very short 36-yard drive and a touchdown.
Basil tacks on the extra point. Rich, we want to see you on the mend and back with us sometime next week.
Yeah, Rich, we miss you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better, and look forward to seeing you next week.
23-20. Wildcats lead by a field goal.
It's going to be a good finish here, I think.
Freshman Harris is back deep. Cuts over to the left. And finally pushed out of bounds. Well, this week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Geno Smith and the Jets face a tough road test when they head to Atlanta to take on Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, 6:30 p.m. Wildcats will have the ball at the 24-yard line. Trevor Siemian, the thrower, in at quarterback. Mark thrown for a loss. The Buckeye defense has come on strong here in the second half. Joey Bosa. And now we've got an injured Wildcat down. That's their left tackle. As we take a look at the drive chart, you'll see, Herbie, how much better the defense has played for Ohio State.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think it's really going to come down to whether or not Ohio State can win the battle up front, something that Northwestern, because of the play calling, has been able to handle. They're going to have to attack Northwestern, not just in the defensive line, but take some chances blitzing some linebackers.
And that, of course, is after they gave up the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Bosa just stood him right up.
Bosa has a tremendous upside. He's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the fine high school programs down in that part of Florida. Comes from an athletic family in Ohio State. Very proud of him. Is Kanapapka. He's going to be helped up with the training staff. Let us check in with Chris Cutter. All right, Chris, thank you. And here Jack Kanapaka comes off. Shane Mertz, a sophomore, 6'8", 300-pounder, probably shy on experience. So the Buckeyes will take a big read on him here. It's second down and 11. Inside move. Siemian steps away. Short of the first down, but it will be third and short. The running back, Mark, did a great job of picking up the inside pass rush on the new tackle.
It was Bosa who got right through Mertz, and he helped him out just enough to give Siemian a chance to be able to survive that play. And a really dangerous collision towards the end of this play, Brent, where Siemian's running, trying to pick up yards. You can see Hale chasing it, Bradley Roby coming in, and then Shazier, Curtis Grant. Big collision where some of the Ohio State players hit themselves there.
So Grant is one of them who is down, and Hale, I believe, he is walking off to the left side of your screen. He was shaken up. And even Roby.
Yeah, there are 3 Buckeyes
shaken up.
Siemian ducked underneath them, and they all kind of collided with one another. Siemian does a good job of trying to extend the play. And fortunately, everybody is up and off of the field.
But this is a third down and short. 3:13 remaining in the third quarter. Bosa coming again. Complete for the first down to Lawrence. And Lawrence across midfield. A big-time throw by Trevor Siemian with Bosa closing in again.
Vitale will go out here, and then you see Lawrence come back into the middle, and Bradley Roby just lost his footing in coverage. But I think just by having Vitale slide to the flat, it caught Ohio State's defense's attention. You could see Grant sliding out there along with Powell. Great read and a good throw that time by Trevor Siemian.
Now they are flopping Bosa over to the right side after he rushed from the left. He's number 97. And believe me, he has a big-time future in Columbus. Double teamed that time. Complete to the outside. Back to Lawrence at the 31-yard line.
And here's a different feel from Kane Coulter to Trevor Siemian. He's on the right hash, throwing all the way over to the left, and he finds Lawrence this time. Look at the soft coverage again from Ohio State. They're not rerouting. They're not challenging the timing of these receivers.
Buckeyes Shazer was coming. And a diving effort for the catch by Tony Jones. Couldn't come up with it. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Ohio State, again, giving that soft coverage, and it's a good effort, but definitely incomplete. They brought pressure that time, and typically when you bring pressure, you're going to walk your corners up a little bit, try to challenge the wide receivers. I don't know if they are fearful that these Northwestern wide receivers will go by them, but they're definitely giving them a big cushion, and Northwestern just throwing the ball underneath it. Great timing.
2nd down and 10. Buckeyes coming with a 5-man rush this time on the blitz, and they get to Siemian. Down he goes. Bosa cleans up on the play. But the entire defensive front did a great job this time.
Yeah, it was a stunt here by Spence, but watch this man who's emerging, Michael Bennett again. If he's left alone, he goes right through. A little miscommunication by Park and Jorgensen on the right side, and he's got great quickness there to lower the boom eventually and get that pressure. There's your man Bosa also cleaning it up.
3rd down and 15. Bosa has made a difference with that defensive line here tonight. In trouble. Tries to send the screen off. Incomplete.
The last couple plays, the Ohio State defense took over, and that sack on the previous play takes Northwestern out of field goal range, more than likely. That was a big play by Bennett and Bosa, and this time a delayed blitz, and Ohio State had everything covered as they tried to get it out there in the flat to Mark.
Corey Brown goes back deep for this punt. Brandon Williams, the Northwestern punter. And Northwestern will down it inside the 10-yard line. Well, the Rose Bowl game, the 100th edition. Go back to 1996. Pat Fitzgerald couldn't play for the Wildcats because of a broken leg. Keyshawn Johnson was the key player for John Robinson.
Darnell Autry.
And in the end, it was the Trojans. DeLon Washington sealed that victory. And a reminder that ESPN is the home of the 100th Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio on New Year's Day. First down and 10. Miller going deep, one-on-one, got it complete. Corey Brown, hold on, incomplete, waving it off. He didn't hang on. And that was Van Hoos.
Yeah, great effort by Philly Brown to extend, but when he came down, it looked like that ball squirted out. Great effort, tough to see from there, but I think you could tell the officials standing right there. Great effort, but when he came down, the ball came out. Here's a great look at it right here.
Yep,
Ball's
that's
on
the one that shows instant replay, that they will not turn it over.
Yep.
That was a terrific effort, though, Kirby, as you pointed out.
Sure was. And really, the first time they've had a chance to get downfield against Northwestern's defense. This will take Jim Kimberling up here about a minute or less.
Less than that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's already seen that particular angle up here in the booth.
It's the only one he needs to see right here.
Yep.
But they got behind coverage. A great throw by Braxton Miller. Ball comes out.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass.
About 37 seconds there by Jim.
You timed that at 37?
He was my man. He was a great referee.
Terrific referee. Second down and 10. Hyde, like a lot of good running backs, seems to get stronger and stronger. Proby makes the stop on Hyde. He's now carried 18 times for 114 yards and had 1 touchdown.
And they wanted that 25 to 30 carry mark, especially with Jordan Hall dinged up this week in practice. And he is a workhorse. Missed those first few games with a suspension. He's come back determined and hungry, and he's running tonight very determined.
Third down and 4. Swing to Hyde. First down and out of bounds.
This is a very good job and something that Tom Herman, I'm sure, is excited to see, with Braxton Miller coming off of his receivers and hitting his check down, getting the ball out to the flat. It's as simple as he wanted to throw the ball downfield. He realized that Devin Smith is covered. He got it out there in a hurry. And when you get the ball out to Carlos Hyde, it's him and a defensive back that's keeping him from getting a first down. He's going to win that matchup more often than not.
Receiving a little attention on the sideline as the final seconds tick away on the third quarter. Northwestern. First down and 10. Coming out from their own 26-yard line. Carlos Hyde, the workhorse, plenty of daylight. It is muggy and humid here in Evanston tonight, after that major rainstorm which swept through here this afternoon, and it has taken its toll on some of the players. And Hyde right now, well, he's carried 19 times.
And I think the timing, the end of the quarter, was big for him to catch his breath and get ready for the rest of this drive. But a good block again by the tight end Hireman.
This time it'll be Miller taking off, picking up a couple of yards. Proby making the stop. You know, when you think about Pat Fitzgerald over there, it's all about family. Grew up here in the Chicago area, graduate of Orland Park's Carl Sandburg High School, recruited by Gary Barnett, All-American linebacker. Came to work as a graduate assistant. He was on the late Randy Walker's staff. Rod Smith now does give Hyde a breather. Nothing doing because of a fine defensive play by Dean Lowry, the sophomore from Rockford.
Again, Braxton Miller is accountable for these defensive ends when they come downhill like that. You can see he kind of hesitated after he handed it off. When the defensive end on a zone read collapses, you got to make that read. Nobody's there to block him. It's the quarterback's decision to either hold on to the ball or to hand it off. And if he takes that running back away, that's a keep. You got to get downfield and run the football. He may have predetermined his read that time.
Third down and 6. And guess who's back in the backfield? Number 34, Carlos Hyde. Will be a protector. Braxton tries to get it off to him, and that should be incomplete, don't you think, Herbie? Wasn't he shoveled it? It's being marked down, but I thought he shoveled it forward to him. Yeah, incomplete pass is the rule.
Yeah, he just kind of almost a shovel pass attempt, but to pressure, they rolled the dice and brought heat. They brought 5. Good coverage downfield. Braxton Miller didn't have a chance that time. Third down. You don't see it very often from Northwestern's defense. They're usually more zone, vanilla, rush for. That time they waited till late in the game on a crucial third down to bring pressure and overwhelm that Ohio State offensive line.
Yeah, they will force a punt here. Mark is back deep. Low punt, he gets out of the way of it. They'll roll dead at the 13-yard line. So now Trevor Simeon will open as a trigger man. Konopapka is back as the left tackle. Complete on first down to Vitale. And that is a fine run after the catch by Dan Vitale out of Wheaton, Illinois.
How about the speed to just run away from Curtis Grant? I mean, you look at Vitale again, he looks like a guy that spends a lot of time in a weight room, but that time a nice catch. But what he did after the catch is what was impressive.
Simeon is releasing quicker, and that time Mark dropped it, and there's a penalty flag. Holding is going to be the call.
Intended for Frederick Clark, flag on the play.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
You know, one of the things Fitzgerald loves is his father is always on the sideline with him. That's right. That's father on the left, hands him the telephone before every game. He was here when he had cables back in the day, and he moved him for Coach Randy Walker around there. So it's a family tradition. And Fitz, of course, with about 70 relatives and close friends here from the south side of Chicago. Intercepted. Picked off by Doran Grant, the junior from Akron, Ohio.
Remember, we talked about tightening up coverage, taking away that cushion, trying to challenge these Northwestern wide receivers. It's exactly what Grant does here. And he does a good job of jumping the outcut. Here's a great look at it. He's up tight, he jumps it, does a great job. You've seen Ohio State's defense give up some plays underneath coverage. This time they take that away, and Grant jumps that ball. The ball's thrown a little bit behind the receiver, Lawrence, but it was really the coverage and the vision to locate the football by Doran Grant.
Carlos Hyde, who's carried 19 times, is alongside Braxton Miller. Here's his 20th carry as he steps to the outside. Bangs toward a first down.
Northwestern built their entire offseason on these leads that they had in the fourth quarter, and they ended up blowing these leads against Penn State, Nebraska, Michigan. The entire offseason was built to holding on to leads in the fourth quarter.
Miller rolls to the right. Has to throw this one away. So it will be second and goal. Eriguzzo in on the quarterback. He's been very active as a linebacker here tonight. He's the will linebacker.
No doubt. From Columbus, the sales. Pat Fitzgerald had his team lift every weight. They made T-shirts about 5 minutes and 3 seconds. That's how many minutes and seconds they were away from being undefeated last year after blowing those leads in the fourth quarter. And now here they are again in 2013 in a familiar position that they were a year ago.
Second down and goal. Miller. And now it will be third down and goal from about the 2 or the 3 yard line.
I think Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde that time not on the same page. They call a lot of these plays at the line of scrimmage. Braxton was expecting him obviously to the right, and Carlos Hyde went to the left. Wonder about that fatigue of Carlos Hyde. It's not just physical fatigue, but the mind also gets challenged in these kind of situations.
Here comes Hyde. Did not get it. Fourth down for the Buckeyes.
Nice play once again. Eriguzzo right in the middle of that. You know he's down a field goal.
Now he's sending the field goal unit out.
He's known as a risk taker, and we saw that fake punt deep in his own territory. It's interesting. About the 6-inch line, he sends out the field goal unit.
I think I'd burn a timeout and get ready to use Hyde again. Do you know how close this is?
Yeah. The Ohio State.
I think upstairs they told him, Herbie.
Yeah.
Urban, think about this now. We are inside of the 1 yard line down here. This is a 4th and goal. A field goal ties it. But if we pound a touchdown in right now, you make Northwestern score a touchdown.
Ohio State's defense, the last 3 possessions, it's been a punt and then an interception on that last series. So they've made some adjustments and playing much better in this second half. Only 3 points by the Northwestern offense.
He's got wide receivers around him right now.
Just a replay booth just confirming the spot here from Carlos Hyde, and just to see, they may want to check to see if that ball broke the plane. He throws that right arm at the goal line. He may have broken the plane. They may want to stop action, take a peek at that. The booth from upstairs wanted to look at that.
They're lined up for 4th and goal, and now it's stopped.
This play is under further review. The ruling on the field is runner was stopped short of the end zone.
Again, it's not his body, it's where his football is, or where the football is, and see if his body ever comes close to touching the ground while he reaches. Now he's on top of bodies. His hand is there. Well, it sure looks like it broke the plane.
You got to be careful with angles.
Considering he's carried 21 times, we're just talking about how he's been taxed physically and mentally. Pretty good effort there by Carlos Hyde to throw that ball as he's going down at the goal line.
So a couple things have happened. Urban sent the field goal unit out, and obviously when he had time to think about it and the coaches upstairs had talked to him, he changed his mind. They were lined up, and then instant replay stopped it to take a further look at it. Ohio State with 2 timeouts left now, and Northwestern with all 3.
Should mention, for people that are not fans of replay, that was not a timeout from Urban Meyer. That was not a red flag from Urban Meyer. That came from upstairs. That came from the booth, recognizing that on their own.
The ruling is a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they did indeed
Ohio
say that he
State
broke
is
the plane
charged. Their
upstairs.
But that college rule where they allegedly look at every play on their own. Great decision by Jim Kimberling upstairs to want to just get another look or two at it, to at the very least stop action on their own. The officials did that.
He wants the timeout back.
Sure.
That's what's going on over here.
Sure.
Here's Basil. (27-23). The Northwestern turnover.
We were away about trying to get a timeout back. I mean, he may want to cover a kickoff here. Sent that field goal unit out, called a timeout, and during that time is when the booth upstairs recognized it. Urban didn't call the timeout to have them look at that.
Fielded at the 5 by Harris. And this time he is swarmed over. Well, NASCAR's best continue their drive for the championship. Points leader Matt Kenseth looks to hold off Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, that's coming up at Kansas tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Be an interesting drive right here for Northwestern. They have not done very well the last 3 times they've had the football, and the energy right now feels very different. Ohio State, after taking the lead, running around and playing with a little different kind of excitement since that turnover on this side of the ball.
Both quarterbacks, Coulter a receiver, Simeon the trigger man. Bucks rush 4. Complete again to Lawrence, and Lawrence has had a big time night here. Caught 7 passes, and a reminder to stay tuned after the game, except on the West Coast, for the late local news over most of these ABC stations. And be sure to turn to ESPN2 for SportsCenter for the highlights of the day in sports. Simeon stays in as the trigger man. Got him on a slant. Here comes Lawrence in a foot race. 30, 20. Diving save at the touchdown at the 7 by Bradley Roby.
Simeon had to put this on a rope to get this between coverage. The corner to the outside is Bradley Roby. He sinks. The safety's right there. And because he threw that football with such velocity, C.J. Barnett didn't take an angle to give him a chance to be able to knock that football away. A great throw by Simeon.
67 yards. Mark comes back on first down, picks up a couple. It'll be second down and goal for the Cats from the 5-yard line.
Northwestern has been in this area a lot tonight. They have had to settle for field goals 3 different times. They've been down to the Ohio State 6, the 12, and the 15, and had to settle for 3 different field goals.
Busts away for the end zone. Touchdown, Green. And a flag is thrown.
Threw it right at the wide receiver.
Number 21.
Kyle Prater.
Replay second down.
Kyle Prater locked up with Bradley Roby. What a great effort by Green there, Brent, to come away from the initial contact, get to the outside. It wasn't on 75, it's right there.
That's a hold.
Yeah, it's on Bradley Roby trying to get in to be able to make a play, and Prater, much bigger at 6'5", just locked him up and held him.
Second and goal.
But they went to Kane Coulter in this area earlier for a touchdown right in the middle of the field.
Under pressure, and it's amazing that he got that much out of it, isn't it? He was surrounded by Buckeyes, and it looked like he was going to go straight down and battled for a couple of yards in there, but the Buckeyes were all over it.
Yeah, they brought the blitz, but watch Kane Coulter right here. He's one-on-one with Pitt Brown, moved to the inside. He was open, but Northwestern unable to protect Simeon. If he would have had just another second, Coulter broke free for an easy throw.
9:27 to go. Third down. Now throws. Touchdown. Cameron Dickerson, a sophomore from Englewood, New Jersey, attended Bergen Catholic High School, makes the touchdown catch as Simeon showing some good work in the pocket. Again in trouble.
Surprises you with his athletic ability in the same way that Kane Coulter surprises you with his ability to throw the football. Good job of knowing where the line of scrimmage was and getting the ball out. But Durand Grant just lost the receiver, Dickerson, in coverage.
Buckeyes adds the extra point.
Off to the right here, watch the coverage, and I think the defensive back, Grant, starts to see the quarterback scramble. He didn't have great eye discipline. He got caught watching the quarterback, and he lost his man. Dickerson, to his credit, recognized that, got away from Grant, and an easy throw and an easy touchdown for the Cats.
Welcome back now to Evanston, where the Wildcats lead Ohio State 30-27.
We'll go back to that touchdown, and again, the defensive back at the top of the screen is Durand Grant, who had the big interception. You'll see him as the quarterback starts to scramble. Watch his eyes as Simeon starts to take off. He'll peek once, and by the time he looks back, Dickerson is already away from him. And how about the job by Simeon stepping into the pocket? Very comfortable in that role to keep that play alive.
9-10. But Zine with a strong leg. This time, Wilson able to return for the first time tonight. Bumped and down at the 19-yard line. Let's go to Chris Cotter. Chris, and we'll watch that as soon as this one's finished. 9:05 to go. Braxton Miller with Carlos Hyde. Hyde has carried 21 times for 146 yards. Now it's 22 times, and this time he's cut off. Still manages to battle his way for a couple of yards. Gibson with the stop for the Cats.
Well, what an answer by Northwestern's offense. After way the momentum had shifted, they came right down with that big throw to Lawrence, and then eventually the touchdown by Dickerson. Now we'll see how Ohio State handles this pressure down 3.
Here comes a blitz, 2nd down and 8. And this will be 3rd down coming up for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Northwestern, because of the big bodies from Ohio State, they've got to take some chances there to stop Carlos Hyde and bring some of that pressure. Even though it's a little bit out of their character, calling at the right time there, anticipating the run from Hyde, and now they set up a big 3rd down here.
Miller slides it to Hyde for the 1st down. Went to the safety valve, who was on that far side, and Hyde pushed out of bounds. I'll see if he was shaken up over there a touch.
It's the 2nd time here in the 2nd half that Braxton Miller's been challenged to see if he can show patience in the pocket. He came off his receivers, 8 defenders in coverage, and he checked it down, and that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to feel like he has to do everything.
Rod Smith replaces Hyde. It looks like they were tying his shoe on the far side. Another great play fake. And a 9-yard gain. Corey Brown, Philly Brown with that reception. Ellis with the stop over there.
Araguza has been blitzing quite a bit tonight, 44, and he came again, and that time, as you said, that was a good job of improvising, getting that ball out in a hurry by Braxton.
2nd down and 1. Coming from the other side. Braxton shakes away. He'll pick up. No, he didn't go for it. He's going to throw, and why not? Open was Corey Brown. Brown on that far side before he's banged out of bounds. Braxton Miller could have walked for the 1st down, but he saw Brown wide open and took the bigger gain.
Boy, what a great effort here. Talk about patience. You're right. There's the 1st down late in the game. He doesn't come close to crossing that line. Great job of feeling that and then throwing it downfield. Philly Brown broke late there, but good recognition.
38-yard gain to Philly Brown. Braxton Miller has the Buckeyes threatening again here at the 22-yard line. Hyde is hit in the backfield. No, he kept it again. You know, the one thing that has really impressed me about Braxton Miller tonight, and several times, his ball handling. He's fooled everybody.
Yeah, he's reading this man right here. Lowry, remember, he's missed a few of these reads. And there's Ellis trying to make a play. Braxton Miller is one of the more shifty, not just quarterbacks, but athletes. When you try to defend him out there, that's tough to do for linebackers and defensive backs. But a good read that time. Lowry attacked the running back.
2nd down and 7. They're across the 20-yard line. The yards have been tough in the red zone for the Buckeyes tonight. Braxton's going to take a shot at it. Couldn't find a man open, so again the safety valve is Hyde, and they do it again. It'll be 1st and goal.
That's the 4th catch tonight for Carlos Hyde. So not only the 23 carries, but also some soft hands and the safety valve for Braxton Miller. Tom Herman's going to be happy, the offensive coordinator from Ohio State, not just with the passing and the footwork, but also the patience and being able to come off of some of his primary wide receivers and not feeling like he has to scramble, just finding Carlos Hyde, dumping it to him, and picking up a 1st down.
Here's Hyde. Hold. Touchdown, Buckeyes. An impressive 81-yard drive. Took 3:48 for the Buckeyes to bring it down and regain the lead.
Well, Carlos Hyde has been a big difference in this second half for the Ohio State offense. Showing a lot of guts tonight now with 24 carries.
He's a Sunday running back.
And getting stronger as this game goes on.
Use his ace return man and running back number 5 back to return this kickoff and hope he can give him some field position. Down that far sideline, breaks the daylight. A terrific return out to the 41-yard line.
You hold your breath every time he gets his hands on the football. We all were anticipating if he gets a chance, they give him just a little bit of a crease, and now he gets into the open field, and he's got a chance to make a lot of people miss. That's a big return here to set up this drive. Good initial blocking up front just to give him enough room to start to work, and then he does the rest.
First down and 10 for the Cats. 5:14 remaining. They're down by 4 after that 38-yard kickoff return. Of course, they will start at the 41-yard line. Kane Coulter back in as the quarterback. Play action. Diving reception. Line judge says he got it. 9-yard gain, Christian Jones.
Yeah, Kane Coulter has not missed a pass tonight. Northwestern as it grew as a team, 351 yards through the air against this Buckeye secondary.
Second and 1. They run for the first down. Trayvon Green picked it up with Grant making the stop.
They are in hurry-up mode, but not getting away from their offense. Brent and I talked about this most of this broadcast. Can't reiterate it enough. Penn State, Nebraska, Michigan, teams they had the lead on last year. Their whole focus is trying to win games in the fourth quarter, and here's a chance for them against the number 4 ranked team in the country.
Coulter has to move hard, cuts up field, comes across the 40 to about the 38-yard line. There is a big issue right here with Mick McCall and Pat Fitzgerald. Now you're moving the ball, but the problem is you haven't been able to stop Ohio State in the second half. So if you're a play caller right now, yes, you've got to finish in the end zone, top priority. But the second priority is to get the clock down as far as you can, because that's how dangerous Ohio State has been here in the second half. First thing, of course, is get into the end zone. Mark on the draw play. And the Buckeyes stop him after about a 1-yard gain. That was Joel Hale making the stop.
Ohio State has tried to tighten up coverage on the outside. Part of the reason they've given up so many yards through the air is they've allowed the quarterbacks to throw with their receivers, and the timing has been outstanding. Ohio State not rerouting and challenging them off the line. Here on 3rd down and short, they'll really come up tight on the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, it's 4-down situation right now as that clock comes down toward 3:15. And they're going to need a 4th down. Mark is short of the first down. Curtis Grant again.
Grant and also Noah Spence. Talked about working that clock down. That's exactly what they're doing.
So it'll stop right now while they measure, and that'll give both units, defense for Ohio State, offense for Northwestern, to take a little break here. Strategy to take hold.
This is where you have Kane Coulter at quarterback and Venrick Mark in the backfield. you give Colder the option. And he can either run it or you can give it to number 5.
They move up under center. He bobbles the snap, picked it up, stepped over to the right, but did he get it? Did he get it? It's going to be very, very close. He moved up quickly to move behind the middle of the line, fumbled the ball, then picked it up and kind of stepped over to the right.
Pretty good effort just to be able to pick the ball up.
Timeout for measurement.
Yeah, they're short. Looks like they're short. Yeah, they've been having so much success with Colder with the direct snap from the pistol. Looks like he may have just pulled out a little bit early trying to get a head start on the sneak. But when he went under center, Ohio State adjusted their defense.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this. They may challenge this spot. Ruling on the field is he did not get it.
The other thing the officials may look at there is when he lost the ball, I don't know if his left knee touched the ground or not right there, but he was back up after he's able to pick the football up. This game's still a long way from being over. 2:43 to go. Northwestern trying to do what they can to get this ball back. 3 timeouts left. And Pat Fitzgerald is going to call a timeout here, and he might just be asking them to just check the spot.
No question.
Yeah.
He challenged that spot after that last replay we looked
The Northwestern coach is challenging the spot on the previous play.
Now watch Joshua Perry on the outside right. Watch him come down the line, trying to strip the football.
There's a blitz by Shazier. He timed it up very, very well, but I don't know how you spot the ball so far from the video we've seen. Yeah, the knee touched and then it came back off the ground when he picked the ball up. So it's a live ball. It's just hard to see. It's hard to see where he is. Looked like a surge there, but where is he? Shazier just blew that up in the middle. Can't say enough about it.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Northwestern is charged a timeout, and they lose their challenge for the rest of the game.
Worth the risk. Yeah, I mean, you'd love to have all 3 timeouts if you're Northwestern, but at the same time, you take a chance and hope that there's a look at it that might give you that first down.
Mike Vrabel played a long time in the National Football League after leaving Ohio State, tucking over there to the defense in case they have to go back. The offense will attempt to run this clock out here and take a 4-point victory home to Columbus. Hyde now carried 25 times here tonight. Nobody didn't say that was a magic number.
Yeah, that's what the goal was, 25 to 30 touches. And he has really come alive here in this second half. The 3 touchdowns that you talked about seems to have just gotten stronger despite this heat and humidity here tonight. There's the effort to get that second touchdown, and then he gets to the corner. Interesting story about Carlos Hyde being suspended the first 3 games by Urban Meyer. Instead of pouting about that, he went down to the scout team and ran the scout team offense with a lot of the freshmen against the first team defense and gave them a great look to try to stay in game shape so when he got back, he'd be ready to play.
Second down at 4. Now he's got a first. No. Yes, he does. On that second effort, he spun away from Campbell, the safety.
Boy, he took a big hit by Ibrahim Campbell. Have to check himself out there.
He's been a warrior here tonight. If you're looking for an MVP, if the Buckeyes hold on, you're looking at him.
You know, in a week where Ohio State just been looking to see, you know, with Jordan Hall dinged up, they turned to him this week and said, hey, big fella, you're back and you're going to have to carry the load. Rod Smith will get a few carries, but we need 25 to 30. How about that hit late in the game on your 26th carry?
Rod Smith.
Rod Smith, the ball carrier. Northwestern, your second.
What an effort tonight, and he wants to come right back into the game. 168 yards, Herbie rushing, another 38 yards pass receiving, 3 second half touchdowns. You just can't do anymore than what Carlos Hyde did here. And remember the Wildcats, of course, in the first half sort of taking charge with an early couple of touchdowns, but then the Buckeyes defense started to hold them to field goals. They beat Ohio State, you're going to have scored touchdowns.
Yeah, and Northwestern had some chances. Ohio State seemed to squeeze them in the red zone and, you know, really made some adjustments, putting more pressure on them. And Carlos Hyde's been a big story. Braxton Miller's made some good decisions.
Right.
You want to explain the tie situation? You want to switch ties now? You actually have.
I thought you were going to make me.
You have I mean, that's an Ohio, that's an official. You told me to wear a purple tie. I got a purple. You pulled out an Ohio official Steve Schnapp Ohio State tie.
And it did come from the Schnapper. My dear friend, absolutely. Sent me that tie.
I'll take that one home.
I thought you were going to make me wear this tie for the rest of the season. You win the game.
That's
coming up after the game. Stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up with Chris Cotter. But you do look good in purple. Has nothing to do. And if you go out to Washington, that'll work out there too.
That's right.
You know,
we'll have to see how they do tonight against Stanford.
Exactly. 34-30.
Well, you were on College Game Day this morning as our celebrity picker.
3 and 6. Hey, I'm putting Terry Bowden on the hot seat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your upset special was Akron.
Your upset special was excellent.
Mine was Ball State over Virginia. They actually won big today.
Let's go back and consider some of those points, fellas. Come on.
Yeah, the friends at the country club, right?
A couple of those games were real close. You guys do a great job, by the way. It was fun.
Thank you. It was fun.
Chris Fowler, outstanding.
You came out guns blazing. I mean, you were ready. You came sprinting down those steps off the bus. You're ready to roll.
Oh, 3rd and 5.
And the uni on, the
I'm not
shades.
going to catch hell when I get home. Oh, my. Here we go. Cutting back to the other side now. To Braxton Miller.
He stayed in bounds. The clock runs, sets up a 4th down. Northwestern out of the timeout, so it'll go all the way down.
Absolutely.
By the time he gets a chance to either fair catch this or maybe goes into the end zone, you're talking about 20-some seconds.
Another tough setback for the Wildcats. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes, their goal is to reach the national championship game. First, of course, win the Big Ten. I mean, that should be obvious to everybody. But they set a higher standard for this team, and Urban Meyer, it's hard to believe, but it's now 18 straight victories.
Charge timeout.
Has not lost as a head coach
Timeout.
of the Buckeyes. Has just done a fabulous job.
Sure has.
And on the other side, I want to say something about Pat Fitzgerald, because every now and then you pick up this little sheet that, oh, my friend Pat Hayden's going to be interested and he's going to come call in. Or how about, let's say Texas were to somehow make a change way down the road. Would they come after Pat? I'm going to tell you something, folks. He married his high school sweetheart. They started dating when they were 15 years old on the southwest side of Chicago. He is a bred and true Chicagoan. He loves it here. He has done a fabulous job with this school. He's the highest salaried employee at Northwestern. He's probably worth a lot more. And when he goes into a living room, he said, I want you to think. I want you to double your age. What are you going to be? It won't be playing football. We've got an education we can offer you here. And he's made it pay off for him.
He sure has. He's built a great football program in the process. Not only does he love Chicago, he's got a great football program and something to be very proud of. You mentioned, Urban Meyer, how about that? Hasn't lost a game yet as a head coach since he's been in Columbus.
That is amazing. When you just stop and think about that for a second.
Yeah. Think about being spoiled.
Columbus?
What's going to happen if he loses the game? But was that part of his contract? I mean, win every game?
Win all your games.
Last year they were not eligible for the postseason, couldn't get to the Big Ten championship game despite being undefeated. Now they are this year. They're up at number 4 in the AP, but in the coaches poll they're at number 3, and it's going to bring on an interesting debate with teams like Alabama and Oregon, who are up there, Clemson, who looked great again today, Florida State, who's on down a bit in the polls. They look great today. Georgia's out there. They've already knocked off a bunch of teams up in the top 10. It's going to be a interesting debate because, let's face it, the perception about the Big Ten is they're a few steps behind the SEC and the Pac-12. And after this game and last week against Wisconsin, how many more chances will Ohio State have against a really outstanding opponent other than Michigan and possibly a Big Ten championship game to show whether or not they're deserving of that shot? Yeah, keep it away. I think that's why there was so much commotion from Urban Meyer.
He didn't want
with number 5 back there.
No, he did not want a punt return on that.
I don't know how many 2 timeouts to make sure we all on the same page. 5 can't touch it.
So the last few seconds here, and Kane Coulter coming out along with Simeon. Let's see if Coulter's going to be a wide receiver. It was interesting talking to Coulter. And he's a pre-med student, by the way. Number 2 is right there. And they're talking to him. He said, I'll do whatever the NFL asks me to do in an effort to make a team. And the little rascal will probably get a shot as a slot receiver. We'll see how he times out the combines and all of those things. Simeon's back against only a 3-man rush. Wow. Down he goes. The 6-yard line.
And no timeouts. So
Buckeyes are cleaning up their win.
Yeah, that's the last thing that he wanted to see happen. 8 in coverage, just rushed 3, and they got pressure on him.
So there are thousands of Ohio State fans wearing red here tonight, and they can't wait to celebrate this win, but it did not come easy. There were some uneasy moments for the Buckeye faithful here tonight.
They're trailing in the 4th quarter. It took some adjustments by Luke Fickell from the defense, Tom Herman and Urban Meyer and the offensive staff. They were challenged by a very, very good football team. Northwestern and Wisconsin, I believe, get together next week. If I'm not mistaken, that will be a great game.
So here they come with the hook on the ladder. Scramble for the ball. Touchdown, Ohio State. And you know what? There are some folks who are celebrating and others who are saying, you've got to be kidding me.
Who's celebrating? The Ohio State fans?
Not just. They were celebrating earlier. There are some numbers crunchers who
mercy. Did that just happen?
I don't know, but yes, it did.
Some people outside.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, a great effort here by Ohio State. They win it by 10, 40-30. And their win streak continues. Stanford playing Washington. Right now, I know that Stanford had scored the first touchdown in that game. Alabama had a scrimmage today against Georgia State. So their win streak also continues. And a terrific performance by Hyde. What can you say? Let's go down to the Cox with the winning coach right now.
Brett, thanks so much. Coach, congratulations. 18 consecutive wins, but you knew you'd be tested tonight. How did you get your team to rise to the challenge?
This is college football. My hat's off to Northwestern. Whatever's been said about Northwestern of old, this is a great environment, great football game.
And it came on a night when your first offensive touchdown didn't come until the third quarter. What adjustments did you make to turn things around in the second half?
Made some mistakes. We went for a fake punt. We turned the ball over a little bit, but I'm really proud of this football. That was a great game, great game.
Super intense, and you said Jordan Hall wouldn't be available and you'd have to ride Carlos Hyde. Right, you did 25 carries, a career high. How important was his performance tonight?
This was a Carlos Hyde game, and Braxton Miller, I thought that, we turned the ball over a little bit, but great team win.
And Coach, this was the first time that you trailed all season long. How does a win like this and the way that it came help you guys further down the season?
It's a street fight. It's one of those it's a 12-rounder that anytime you go 12 rounds with someone and you survive it, it makes you tougher.